para tomar acción por la democracia. Creo que en el corto plazo, activistas, jóvenes activistas alrededor del mundo, hoy hay un espacio nuevo de acción, de interacción, de comunicación, que sin duda son las redes sociales, que han potenciado que antes dictaduras pretendían invisibilizar. Creo que esta es una herramienta poderosa, que si bien también es intervenida por algunos regímenes como plataforma de propaganda, uso de trolls o bots, creo que esto con la correcta organización puede generar un espacio, estén donde estén. Hoy Venezuela cuenta con 6 millones de migrantes y refugiados, lamentablemente, pero también son una plataforma activa de acción directa e indirecta de cara a la democracia, de cara a poder buscar avances significativos y defender a los más vulnerables. Así que yo creo que este espacio de ciberactivismo, compaginado, arropado, acompañado de plataformas como esta, porque estamos en Zoom, transmitiendo a través de los diferentes espacios de comunicación, nosotros podemos además generar unos lazos, una interacción clara en cada uno de nuestros países, de cara a Naciones Unidas, de cara a la OEA, de cara a la Comunidad Europea, de cara a los diferentes multilaterales. Yo creo que urge la acción en terreno, ¿no? Creo que no podemos ser descriptores o relatores de tragedias, sino tomar acción precisamente por la democracia y el cambio. Yo creo que hay un perfecto espacio en este momento accesible para la mayoría, no para todos, pero sí para poner y hacer la diferencia. Así que bueno, quería aprovechar esto para buscar, continuar y fomentar estos espacios, llamar a todos esos jóvenes activistas y líderes democráticos del mundo a hacer causa común, a hacer, y hablando de nuevo en estos términos trendy, no solamente la democracia, pero también la libertad, para que cada día se sumen más jóvenes, líderes del mundo, y por supuesto poder lograr esa meta que es la democracia y la libertad para todos nuestros países. Muchas gracias.
So thank you very much, Colom, for the invite. Thank you to the panelists that have been here, that have spoken here. Thank you for sharing. I think it's important to take action. So in the short run, this is a space for activists. This is a space for interaction, for communication. This forum, and not just this space in general, but the internet and social media has created all of these new ways and these new tools to advance the cause of democracy. Of course, there are bots that get onto these systems, and there are trolls, and there are all these things that authoritarian regimes try to use to disrupt this new tool, to disrupt social media and the internet and so on. But we are here, and we overcome those obstacles. So cyber activism, what we're doing here now, is crucial. It's important, and we're using it to draw ties between our countries: Venezuela, Hong Kong, Myanmar, Belarus, Russia, and we can't just use these tools to be storytellers. We can't just narrate the events of our countries with these tools. We must use them to take and organize action. So we need to use these tools, social media, to call on the leaders of the United Nations, to call on the leaders of multilateral organizations, to call on the public. So every day we need to see more of this. We need to engage with these tools further, just to continue advancing the cause. So once again, to everyone on the panel, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much for this. And Veronica, do you want to tell us what activists can do to support you and to support fellow Belarusians?
Yes, I would like to thank you, Colombia, for such a great event as well, because it's been a pleasure to talk to all the activists from the countries. This is number one. Number two, as I said in the very beginning, we ask for international help. Number one, to make Lukashenko a complete isolated person, because we know how it was in the previous years. As we know, Lukashenko has been in power for 26 years, and every time he falsified the elections, 2, 3, 4, 6 months later, the rest of the world forgets what happened in Belarus, and they start to invite him, you know, for official visits, etc. So this should not happen any longer. This is number one. Please be vocal about Belarus. Please share our story. We are ready as activists to share our stories, to share the stories of the political prisoners who are illegally detained in the prisons. This is number two. And number three, as I said, please help us to initiate the criminal proceedings against Lukashenko, because we did send the letters to all members of the Security Council of the United Nations, to all 10 members of the Security Council, the permanent members, to the members which are, you know, elected each year. But so far we have not heard back, and this really surprises us in a negative way, because we submitted the testimonies, the evidence. What else do you need to initiate the criminal proceedings? How many more Belarus people have to die for you to open the cases? We ask for international help, for international support. Please help us to send Lukashenko to The Hague. Please help us to get rid of this dictator, because as I said, like, as of we speak right now, Belarus people are suffering, and we need to stop it with the international help, with the people of Belarus who are inside of the country, and with the help of the entire world. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we've heard already quite a few suggestions. Wai Wai, do you want to tell us what the people here can do?
Sure. So leaders have already told us that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Likewise, attack on the freedom somewhere is a threat against the threat everywhere. Based on my experience working on the human rights and democracy in Myanmar, we often tend to close our eyes when people and our neighbors are being, freedoms are infringed and liberties are attacked. Sorry, just give me one.
No worries. Okay.
Sorry, I have a noise. So what I want to say is that it is incredible to see the support and solidarity that people of Myanmar we are receiving for our fight. But I want you to learn more. Everybody, each and every one of us, including myself. It is important that we always learn deeply about the causes and suffering, and take actions with the empathies and with the deeper understanding and respect to the causes. President Guaido mentions earlier on the narrative of the people, and it is crucial to understand the narrative of the affected communities and countries, and paying attention to what people on the ground wants and calling for, and supporting their calls with empathy is essential. So stand with us, bear with us, and support our calls.
Thank you so much. So we've heard already about advocacy, about learning, about supporting. Vladimir, what do you want to tell the audience?
I will resonate, I think, what most people have been answering on this question. Most of the activists of your movement, they live in developed countries, they live in democratic countries. I don't think that people, politicians, and the wide audience, wide public in these countries are aware what risks absence of democracies in our countries create for them. Every totalitarian regime affects people in developed countries. I mean, Russia is probably the best example, which over the last few years, it has brutally redrawn borders in Europe, something that hasn't been done since World War II. It has orchestrated assassinations in several European countries. It has meddled in numerous elections. And to say that it's not important, or it's not the place of Western countries and Western governments to devise a coherent strategy of confronting totalitarianism in Russia and other countries is really absurd. And I call on everybody to try to make people aware and to call the attention to this issue.
Thank you, Vladimir. And Ted, the closing words are for you.
Yes, thank you very much, everyone, for your sharing. And I have strong feelings towards what you have just said, especially from the anger from Veronica. And I assure that I feel the same anger in my heart. And I think this is important to express our anger, our emotions in different platforms so that we have solidarities. So for ordinary young protesters, people, I think what they can do is that don't feel small or subtle, don't let the world change what you are and what you believe. So there are pragmatic things that you can do and Hong Kongers are doing. So they attend criminal courts to support those who were charged by the regimes. They send a lot of letters, tons of letters to those in jails, letting them know that they are supported, there are people behind them, and they send pragmatic, physical, financial support for the families. And sometimes I think when social media will be gone, education will become brainwashed. What they can do is that they meet physically, they keep the organization running, they spread the message and support independent journalists and independent media, even though their number are tiny, even though they might not be as influential, but do that, do donations. I think these are very small steps that they can do, but collectively very powerful.